we need to bring this into Power BI now, but since we've already created this table, right, this append, we don't need to bring these other ones into Power BI, right? So what we do is we right click on each one and uncheck this enable load, right? The table is still going to be included in any report refreshes, right? That is, if I refresh the data tomorrow or when you have more 2020 movies, right? If I refresh it, it should still bring in the top 200 movies, but it shouldn't load it directly into the Power BI design view. This is the Power BI query view. You have the Power BI report design view, which we will get to shortly. So I will uncheck enable load, and immediately you should see it go from, straight characters to italics, right? I'll go to the next one and click on check, go to this, click on check enable load, and check enable load, and check enable load. Sweet. So there are a few transformations, a few things I want to do to clean this data even further, right? So you should always look at your headers and the type of data that is within your column, right? So for instance, my rank here is numbers, right? So it has been formatted as numbers, which is 1, 2, 3. If you wanted to change the formatting of the numbers, you would click here and choose the type of formatting. And the different data formats, which is decimal number, fixed decimal number, whole number, percentage, date, time alone, duration, text, true or false, or a binary, which is 1 and 0 type of data. So rank formatted as number, whole number is good. Title formatted as text is good. World lifetime gross formatted as text is not good. We need to format it as a whole number. Domestic lifetime gross formatted as text is terrible. We need to format it as a whole number. The domestic percentage, all of these. So I'm going to remove some data. For instance, this domestic percentage, and I'm going to hold Control and click another column, which is foreign percentage. And I'll remove these data sets because I can always calculate them subsequently, right? They're not particularly useful at the moment. So I can right click on that since I've highlighted both columns, and then I'll go to remove columns, right? Remove columns. So now from 8 columns, we're down to 6 columns. Cool. So in my calculations, world lifetime gross should be exactly equal to the sum of domestic plus your foreign lifetime gross. We can check that later. But now, how do we convert? Okay, so the final one is year. Year is in numbers, whole number, which is great. That's fine. But how do we convert these monetary values here, which have been formatted as text, to numbers? You might be tempted to just go straight ahead, right, and click this icon and say format as what, whole number. But watch what happens. So if I click that, what does it do? It comes out as errors, right? Comes out as errors. And this is because you're trying to format something that is essentially being categorized as a text, as a number. And why this has been categorized as a text is because of the $sign, right? That is, preceding the numbers. So we need to find a way to remove those $signs first before converting it to number. Now, every step, every transformation that has been applied, the removed columns that we did here, it shows up in this place called, all right, we have a text. Yes, you would get the full video. I will share the link with those that are signed up for the webinar. Okay, so every step that has been applied, right, shows up here in this link, in this box here called applied steps. We can go back to view, our previous steps, which are essentially tables. We can come back to view, go forward to view all, the latest steps. We can also delete steps that we do not need anymore with the X over here. So in this case, we're going to delete this change type step, which is which is producing errors. So I will delete that, and I will do an operation. Okay, you're welcome. I will do an operation called split columns, right? So I want to split this column essentially, um, and I'm going to use something called a delimiter, right? A delimiter is usually a symbol or a character, a text or something that that delimits, and the word delimits there means that spaces out or separates text from another, right? So no worries, Yemi, that's fine. So that delimits or separates text. So we'll click on the column, and then we'll go to transform column, right? And then we'll go to under the text formatting, we'll go to split column, and then we'll split it by delimiter. There's so many ways we can split this. We can split it by non-digit to digits, because dollar, that is the first thing it should see. When it sees it, it should be a non-digit. Dollar is a non-digit, whereas all the numbers 20, etc., they're digits. We can also decide to split by delimiter. In this case, our dollar will be the delimiter, that is the symbol that separates our data. So split by delimiter, and you can see it has just quickly, picked up on dollar, right? If it doesn't show up as if it doesn't show up here as dollar, you can click this drop down here and click on custom. So you can split by colon, semicolon, equal sign, space, tab, etc. But in this case, it's custom, and then you type in your dollar sign here, and then watch what happens when you click OK. Sweet, you can see. So this column you don't need anymore, because it said, oh, anywhere where I see dollar, take out the dollar and then create another column with the next set of data. So in this case, this is what we need. This one we don't need anymore. If we look through, it's all blank. There's nothing in it. So I click cancel, and then now I can remove this column. Or before removing, I can do the same for the other two, domestic and lifetime. So I'll go to split column by delimiter. I'll go down, click custom, and I'll type my dollar symbol. I click OK. Sweet. Look at that. It has also separated it as well. And finally, the lifetime gross, I'll split it by delimiter as well, foreign lifetime gross as well. And click OK. And we have something that has been split by delimiters. Right. So I can click, hold this, hold control, click the other ones I don't need, and then click the third one I don't need. Right click, and I'll remove unnecessary columns. So as you can see, the columns now have been properly formatted just automatically, but checked just in case as whole numbers. World lifetime gross has added something called 2 at the end, but we don't need that. I'll just remove the 2, press enter. My domestic as well, I'll rename the column. I'll just rename this one to domestic. And then this one, I'll rename this to foreign. Nice. My year remains the same, and my title, yeah,